Have you ever felt a pain in your soul that you can't explain? A silent anguish that appears out of nowhere, as if you were carrying something that doesn't belong to you? Maybe in moments of peace, you suddenly feel sadness or a deep, unexplained exhaustion. And the most confusing part is that no one else seems to notice, but you feel it. You carry it inside, as if it's been a part of you forever. There are people who are drawn to you with trust, even if they don't know you. They seek your advice, your silence, your energy, and you, without fully understanding why, become a refuge. Your mere presence brings calm. Your energy embraces your words, even in silence. Heal. Maybe you always thought this was normal, that it happens to everyone. But let me tell you something important. This is a gift not everyone possesses, a gift that reveals who you really are. It's no coincidence that you're here. It's no coincidence that this video has reached you at this very moment. The universe doesn't make mistakes, especially not when it comes to souls that have come to heal. Throughout this story, I will reveal 10 spiritual signs, deep, real signs that may confirm something you felt for a long time. You were born to heal. But there is one in particular, the 10th sign, that changes everything. Not just because it confirms your purpose, but because it reveals why your soul chose this life. If you reach that point, something inside you will awaken. I don't say this for drama. I say it because hundreds of people have already experienced it upon hearing this full message. And if, while listening, something stirs in your chest, if your heart races for no reason, if unexpected emotion overwhelms you, then listen closely to what I'm about to say. This is not just a message, it's a calling. And if you feel it, please write in the comments, "Yes, I'm ready." Because maybe today, without looking for it, you are about to remember who you truly are. There's a kind of pain that isn't born within you, but you live it as if it were. A strange, subtle sadness that arrives without warning and can't be explained in words. It doesn't come from your choices or your personal story or from something you can clearly identify. It just appears, accompanies you, settles in your body, in your mind, in your chest, like an invisible cloud only you can feel. If this happens to you often, you might not yet realize that you are an energetic channel. Your body is not just designed to exist, but to feel for others. You absorb anguish, emotions, frustrations, often without realizing it. You're in a conversation and suddenly end up exhausted. Sometimes you enter a space and for no apparent reason, anxiety or fatigue overwhelms you. All of this has a deeper explanation than you think. You are a spiritual sponge, a sensitive antenna that picks up vibrations others can't process. People born to heal like you have heightened energetic sensitivity. This is not weakness, it's a silent strength. Your soul chose to come with this sensitivity specifically to help transmute the world's pain. It's not a punishment. It's part of the gift you carry within. You may have faced misunderstanding from others, people saying you're too sensitive, that you take things too seriously, that you get too involved. But what they don't know is that your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a sacred tool, because through it, you can perceive what others don't and heal what others can't even detect. You're not alone on this path. Many of us have felt that same unexplainable pain and have stayed silent for years. But now is the time to understand that if you feel so deeply, it's because you're here to relieve that pain, not to carry it forever, but to transform it. What you absorb doesn't destroy you, it refines you, prepares you, turns you into medicine for others. If these words resonate with you, if you've seen yourself in this first sign, I invite you to write in the comments, I accept my sensitivity as part of my gift. Recognizing it is the first step to healing and beginning to use your energy consciously. From an early age, something within you was drawn to the invisible. While other children dreamed of being action heroes, you were fascinated by healing hands, soothing words, and gestures that brought peace. Maybe you spent hours watching someone prepare a tea, heal a wound, or simply listen with love. Perhaps you were drawn to the aromas of plants, the secrets of the ancients, or the stories of people who healed with their energy. That curiosity wasn't a childhood coincidence. It was the echo of your soul reminding you where you come from and where you are meant to go. Many of us have felt that subtle calling, that deep attraction to all that soothes, balances, or transforms. From traditional medicine to energy therapies to connection with the divine, the body, and the mind. When a soul has come to heal, it feels it even before it can clearly speak. Maybe you started reading about chakras before your friends knew what meditation was, or you spent hours reflecting on topics no one your age understood. You may have felt a natural connection with animals, trees, even silence itself, not because you were different, but because your nature was profoundly healing. Your soul, though young in this life, carries an ancient sacred memory linked to spiritual healing. People like you don't seek knowledge out of vanity. They are guided by an inner impulse, as if something leads them to prepare, to remember, to refine a gift that can't be taught in books. Because true medicine doesn't come only from learning, it comes from the soul. And if you felt that magnetism toward healing, if that calling has been with you forever, then your mission may be much greater than anyone has told you. If you see yourself in these words, if this attraction to the sacred and the healing has always been part of you, I invite you to write in the comments, I identify. You are awakening to your purpose, and that is the beginning of a beautiful journey. Has it ever happened that people open up to you without being asked? They tell you things they've never shared with anyone, confessions of pain, fears, dreams, doubts, as if suddenly you were a safe space amid the chaos. Sometimes you don't even understand why they come to you. They just do. And they do, because your energy transmits something few can offer, peace. You don't need to have all the answers. Sometimes it's enough just to listen, to be there, to look with attention and not judge. That too is healing. Because healing doesn't only happen with words or treatments, it happens when someone feels seen, understood, accepted as they are. And you, simply by being there, awaken in others a sense of relief they may not fully understand, but deeply value. People feel they can breathe around you, that they can let go, that they can cry without being weak. And even if you don't know it, you've already done a lot for those who've passed through your life. You've accompanied griefs, endured awkward silences, shared hugs that restored faith. Maybe they never told you with words, but your soul already knows. You have been medicine for many. You don't need to be a therapist or have a diploma. What you have is something rarer, more valuable, more necessary. It's presence, its sensitivity, its light. And in a world that often seems dimmed by noise, your way of being becomes a beacon that guides others back to their center. And today, by recognizing this sign, you are taking a step toward your own mission. Because true healers don't always wear white coats. Sometimes they wear smiles, wise silences, and an energy that transforms everything without asking for anything in return. Help us share this message with more people. Subscribe, like, and tell us what spiritual signs you've experienced. You could inspire other healers who, like you, are remembering who they are. Perhaps you've felt it during quiet moments when you're not doing anything in particular. A subtle tingling, a warmth in the center of your palms, as if you were holding something invisible. You may have even noticed slight pressure or soft vibrations, like pulses from within. And even if you ignored it at first, over time, these sensations have become more present, more constant, more intense. What you feel is not your imagination, nor a meaningless physical reaction. It is energy, living, subtle, intelligent energy, a force that lives in you and flows with purpose. Your hands are not like everyone else's. They are directly connected to your energy field, to your intention, to the awareness you brought from other lives. They are extensions of your soul, instruments of light designed not only to touch, but to transform. Throughout history, great healers have known that their hands weren't just tools, they were channels, bridges between the visible and the invisible. And you, when you feel that vibration in your palms, are receiving a clear sign that you possess the same gift. You may not yet know how to use it, but you are already awakening it. Every time you place your hands on someone and feel something move, release, or calm, it's a sign of your ability to channel energy. Your hands aren't just for creating or caressing, they also serve to release blocks, activate memories, and balance what's out of order. You don't need complicated formulas or advanced techniques at first. What matters most is recognizing that this energy exists within you. And the more aware you are of it, the more powerfully it will begin to manifest. If you've ever felt that sacred electricity moving through your hands during meditation or simply while in silence, don't doubt it any longer. Your body is speaking, your energy is awakening, and the universe is reminding you of who you truly are, a channel of healing, love, and light. There are times when you feel exhausted for no apparent reason, as if an invisible force were draining your energy, leaving you breathless, unmotivated, mentally foggy. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that this often happens after being around certain people or in places with very low, dense, or conflict-heavy vibrations. Your body doesn't react this way out of weakness. It reacts because it's processing energies that don't belong to it. When someone is born with a healing gift, their energy field is extremely receptive. You're like a radar that picks up what others can't see, and many times what you perceive, you absorb unknowingly, unintentionally. In that silent process, your energy system goes into a kind of defense mode. It begins to cleanse, to transform, to try to balance the chaos you picked up. The result? Fatigue, physical discomfort, emotional blocks, symptoms that many don't understand, but that you've learned to recognize. You are a living filter of light. And like any filter, sometimes you get overloaded. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your body is an instrument constantly purifying its surroundings. Your soul came with that mission. And while it involves difficult moments, it's also a clear sign that you have an active spiritual sensitivity. Great healers not only heal others, they also learn to care for their own energy. Because if you don't care for yourself, your channel weakens. and your light fades slowly. For years, you may have felt fragile, like you got sick easily or were affected by things others didn't even notice. But the truth is different. You weren't fragile. You were absorbing and holding what others couldn't. You were cleansing what no one else wanted to. You dared to face it, and even though it's exhausting, that is an act of silent service that the universe deeply recognizes. From today on, start honoring your body for what it truly is, a sacred instrument of energetic purification. Listen to its signals. Give it rest when it needs it. Surround yourself with environments that elevate your vibration, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. Because you weren't born to carry the whole world, but to transform it with your light, without ever forgetting yourself. Sometimes you perceive things others do not. You feel the presence of someone in an empty room or an unexplainable chill when you enter a certain place. Occasionally, you know what's going to happen before it does, as if something inside you silently speaks. Maybe you even dream of symbols, people, or situations that later manifest in reality. And even if it seems strange to many to you, it's simply natural, because you're not imagining things. You're tuned in to the invisible. When your soul is more awake than most, your perception becomes sharper. Your awareness expands beyond the physical, and you begin to receive information that goes beyond rational understanding. It's not always easy to explain. Sometimes not even you understand why you know certain things or why you feel a heavy energy when approaching someone, but your inner self knows. That sensitivity is not a flaw. It's one of your greatest gifts. You were born with an open connection to the subtle. Maybe as a child you saw lights, shadows, or felt someone watching you, even though no one else was there. Maybe you heard phrases like, "You have a big imagination," or "That doesn't exist." But your heart knew it was real, because it was, because it always has been. The thing is, not everyone has the capacity to perceive what you can. You're not crazy, and you're not alone. You are in tune with a dimension many have forgotten. And if you're hearing this today, it's because the time has come to stop hiding that part of you, to start valuing it, to recognize that your spiritual sensitivity is a gift, a compass, your soul's way of reminding you that you are a bridge between two worlds, the visible and the invisible. If these signs have been part of your life, if you ever felt like something greater was guiding or protecting you, then it's time to accept it without fear. Write in the comments, "I accept my gift," because in that acceptance begins your true expansion. There are moments in life when you felt deeply alone. No matter how many people are around, there's an internal feeling of being disconnected from the outside world. Maybe you even thought something was wrong with you, that the loneliness was some sort of divine punishment or a sign that you didn't belong anywhere. But today, I want to tell you something that will change that perception forever. That loneliness wasn't a punishment. It was spiritual training. Great healers are not forged in applause or in social noise. They are forged in silence, in that deep space where one comes face to face with their shadow, with their light, with their memories, and with their wounds. It is in solitude where your soul strengthens, where you develop true compassion, where you begin to clearly hear the voice of the divine within you. There, in the midst of apparent emptiness, is where true connection with the sacred is born. You've been through times where you felt no one understood you. you had to walk alone through dark paths of the soul. And though those were difficult times, if you look back with conscious eyes, you'll see that those stages transformed you. They made you more sensitive, deeper, wiser. They prepared you to support others in their own process, not from theory, but from lived experience. It's in solitude where you discovered your gifts, your limits, your unhealed wounds. It's there where you started to connect with the spiritual in a more intimate and authentic way. When you had no one to turn to, you learned to turn to yourself. When everything outside collapsed, your soul spoke louder. And though it hurt, it gave you a strength that cannot be faked. Because those who have learned to be alone with love have also learned to be guides for others. So if today you remember those moments of loneliness with sadness or resentment, change your perspective. Recognize them for what they really were: sacred soul ceremonies, silent initiations to awaken your mission as a healer. That's where your spirit was tempered. That's where you were born again. There is something inside you that drives you to help, even when no one asks. You don't do it out of obligation, recognition, or interest. You do it because you don't know how to be any other way. Because when you see someone suffering, your instinct is to go near, to hold, to comfort, to offer light, even if you yourself are in the dark. That urge to serve comes from such a deep place that even you can't always explain it, but your soul knows. That's called a vocation of service. While others ask, "What do I get from this?" you ask, "How can I contribute?" You don't seek applause, thanks, or rewards. It's enough to know that you did the right thing, that you brought relief where there was once pain. Your soul doesn't seek the spotlight. It seeks balance. It seeks healing, not just for others, but as a way to heal your own story. Because in helping, you remind yourself that there is still beauty in this world and that you are part of it. Sometimes you've given so much that you ended up exhausted. You gave more than you had. You stood by others without being accompanied. You were there for everyone while no one was there for you. And though that hurts, it's also proof of your luminous essence. Because true healers don't give to be seen. They give because their soul needs to stay in harmony with its purpose. That unexplainable vocation is a spiritual imprint that cannot be erased. It is a sign that your soul has lived many lives in service to love. And in this life, it has come back to do it again. Don't doubt it anymore. Your desire to serve is part of the pact you made with the universe before you were born. And the more you honor it, the clearer your path becomes. It doesn't matter if the world doesn't yet understand your dedication, the universe does. And every gesture of love that comes from you, even if no one applauds it, leaves an invisible mark on the collective consciousness. That is your mission. That is your medicine. There is something very special in you that not everyone can understand. Your ability to love even when you've been hurt. While others close off, you remain open. While many build walls after betrayal, you still choose to trust. And though that has sometimes cost you tears, disappointments, and painful silences, there is one truth you cannot deny. Your heart doesn't know how to hate, because it was designed to heal. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean justifying the harm. It means understanding that every human being is fighting a battle that often they themselves don't understand. And you, with the silent wisdom inside you, can see beyond the act. You reach the soul. You perceive the pain behind the wound, the story behind the reaction, the fear behind the aggression. And that deep understanding is part of what makes your energy so transformative. Your ability to love unconditionally is not weakness. It is spiritual strength. It is not submission. It is elevated consciousness. Because only those who have worked on their inner world, only those who have walked through their shadows and embraced them, can truly look at others with genuine compassion. And you do it, perhaps without realizing it, without grand words, but with a presence that embraces without demanding, supports without complaint, and loves without imposing conditions. Many have told you that you should be tougher, colder, more rational, but deep down, you know that if you stopped loving like that, you'd stop being you. Because that love that flows through you is part of your medicine. It's part of what you came to share in this world that has so often forgotten the true meaning of love. If you ever felt out of place for feeling too much, for loving too much, for forgiving where others held grudges, today, I tell you, you are not wrong. You are on the right path, the path of those who heal with love, those who choose light in the midst of darkness, those who understand that only true love has the power to uplift the human soul. Surely on more than one occasion, someone has looked at you with a mix of gratitude and amazement and said, "I don't know what you have, but you make me feel better." Maybe they said it after an unexpected conversation, a silent hug, or even when you thought you did nothing special. And even if you thought you were just being yourself, in that moment, you were already healing. Your energy works even when you're not aware of it. It operates on subtle levels. It acts through your presence, your vibration, the peace you project. Sometimes just being in a room calms others. Sometimes you only listen, and that's enough for someone to find clarity. You don't need to impose, convince, or prove anything, because what you emit speaks louder than any words. You have already been medicine for many people, even if they haven't told you clearly. You've held back tears. You've supported the souls of those about to give up. You've lit the path of those who felt lost. And you did it without formulas, scripts, or pretense. You did it with your energy, with your awakened soul, with that invisible force that naturally expresses itself through you. So, if in this journey of self-discovery you recognize many of these signs, don't ignore them. Because when a person is born with the gift of healing, the universe reveals it little by little, through signs, synchronicities, encounters, and messages like this one. If you're here, if this touched your soul, then it's because your time has come. You've been healing without knowing it, but now it's time to do it with awareness, with intention, and with purpose. If you recognize these signs along your path, your soul has awakened. Accept your light. Share this so more healers may awaken, because this is not just a message for you. It's a collective call, an invitation for the light within you to multiply and reach all those who have not yet remembered who they are. If everything you've heard up to now resonated with any part of your soul, don't ignore it. It wasn't by chance that you arrived at this point. It wasn't by chance that each sign awakened a memory, an emotion, or a truth that seemed to sleep inside you. This is not just a message, it is a mirror. It's a silent call that the universe has placed before you to remind you of something sacred. You were born to heal. The world needs now more than ever people like you. People who heal from compassion, not ego. who offer light without expecting applause, who dare to look at others with humanity, tenderness, and understanding. Because in the midst of chaos, rush, confusion, and pain, you bring a medicine that cannot be bought, faked, or manufactured, the medicine of your energy. Your presence transforms, your silence supports, your hug rebuilds. And that ability is not accidental. It is not chance, nor mere fleeting sensitivity. It is a divine gift, a pact your soul sealed before coming into this life. Not everyone has it. Not everyone remembers, but you do. And if you made it this far, it's because you're ready to activate it consciously, to elevate it, to share it. No matter how much you doubted yourself in the past, no matter how many times you felt you didn't belong, today, in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Your energy is awakening, and your mission is just beginning. The light you carry inside is not meant to be hidden. It's meant to uplift the whole world. If you feel this message was meant for you, write in the comments, "I was born to heal," because you are in the right place at the right time. And if you wish for more souls to remember their gift, subscribe, share this light, and be an active part of this network of healers that is already awakening across the planet.